Hi, my name is Amber Kivett with Lifepro, and today I'm excited to share with you the newest release of our massage gun line, which is the Fusion X. The Fusion X is a heated massage gun able to provide percussion therapy at a cellular level. So inside your case, you're going to find a user guide, you're going to find a charge cord, you'll find 5 different heads that can be attached to the device, and then you'll find the heated massage gun, the Fusion X. It does have the option of removing the battery, so you can carry extra batteries along with you if you choose to, but you don't have to remove the battery in order to charge it. You just simply grab your attachment here on the end, plug it into the bottom of the device, and then attach this into your power source. It holds a battery charge for 3 to 5 hours of operation and takes 180 minutes to recharge to full effect. This massage gun has 5 different speeds. So again, 5 different heads, 5 different speeds. What makes this one so unique is that it actually has a heated feature, so you can drive heat through the tissue with the heated attachment point, which is very specific to the gun. With this one, this is your heated point, and so you can tell that it is the heated attachment in that it has the 2 coils at the base that correlate in with the interior of the barrel. We also have the round ball tip. We have a rounded flat tip. We have a bullet tip. And we have the spinal, I like to call it the goal post tip. We also have the spinal tip. So with those 5, the only tip that actually heats through the massage gun is the square tip that has the 2 receptors on the bottom that correlate in with the actual barrel. So from here, what I'm going to do is line up those 2 dots with the 2 dots inside, and there's also a little notch on the base of this tip that correlate with the notch in the barrel so that it locks into position. So from here, I'm going to push in, make sure that it's nice and locked in tight, and then we're ready to go. When it comes to powering on your device, after you have a full charge, there's a switch on the bottom that indicates on versus off. You're going to flip that switch to the on setting, and then on the back of the massage gun is 2 extra buttons. One is your power on switch, and as you can see, it's working. We've got 5 different levels that we can work through. So you're going to push that button each and every time that you're wanting to increase in intensity, all the way to a level 5. Now let's talk about your levels. So we're going to go back to level 1. Level 1 is 1600 RPM. Level 2 is 2000 RPM. Level 3 is 2400 RPM. Level 4 is 2800 RPM. And level 5, the most intense level, is going to be 3200 RPM. To make sure that you are not absorbing the vibration of this device, make sure that you hold it with the rubber-based handle in the palm of your hand. So what's really important to know when it comes to the heated feature is you have to have all the levels turned completely off, and then you'll push the bottom button, which will activate the heated feature. A word of caution. This tip is going to get, over the period of 10 minutes, 113 to 131 degrees. So make sure, if you are using this on an individual other than yourself, that you have a towel handy so that you can soften the heat if need, and make sure that you approach your client or whomever you're working on with caution, because again, this gets very hot, up to 130 degrees. We don't want anyone to get burnt because of the heated tip. Everybody has a different sensitivity level, so if you have fibromyalgia, if you have MS, if you have other autoimmune diseases, if you've had an injury below the waist with the spinal column, any of those areas, you're going to be much more sensitive to heat than those who are not going through autoimmune issues or have had previous injuries. Everybody has a much different sensitivity level to heat. So do proceed with caution when it comes to working with those individuals, because most won't know that they're sensitive until you touch them with the hot point. It takes about 10 minutes to get this to warm up. So for that reason, we're gonna move on with some of these other tips, and then we'll demonstrate on a model here shortly how you can use the different massage techniques for whatever your goal might be, whether it's injury prevention and injury management, whether you're wanting to maintain the fascial connective tissue, or whether you're wanting to increase sleep, decrease stress, getting that hormone release, your dose hormones, which is your dopamine, your oxytocin, your serotonin, and your endorphins, and decreasing that cortisol. So a lot of different benefits that come from out of this with 5 different tips, 5 different speeds, and a lot of heat. So that being said, we're gonna go ahead and switch this tip out. It's already hot, so make sure, this feels really good by the way. And those of you who might have had an experience with our other heated massage gun, this one's going to heat faster and it's going to heat hotter. So if you haven't been happy with the other one because you want more heat, this is the upgrade. So we're going to remove that tip. And most are pretty familiar with the ball tip. What's really important to understand on all these different tips, some of them will have a notch and some of them don't. The ball tip does not have a notch because it doesn't matter whether it is aligned straight or not, because you can use any side of the ball. So on the back, the only button that matters from this point forward, if you're not using the heated tip, is the intensity or the speed button. So we're gonna power on, and as you're working on yourself or on an individual, make sure that you start with the device on before you make contact with the tissue. For this, if you make direct contact with the skin, with the center of the ball, that is going to be more intense than going from the side of the ball. So depending on what your goals are for your treatment session will be which direction of the ball that you maintain contact with. Remember, when you're using the massage gun, it's not how deep you press. What matters is that the body receives the vibration and the percussion therapy. Again, it works at a cellular level, so it's quite powerful. So from here, as you can hear the unit increasing in speed, still pretty quiet, but again, make sure that you're using the rubber-based handle so that you're not putting that vibration stress into your own palms over a period of time if you're in occupation in massage. So we pull that off. Make sure that you turn all the speeds off when you're switching out the tips. And here is your round flat head. Okay, and this is just a plastic tip, so there's no, with this one, you're gonna have a little bit of a foam tip, so you're gonna get a little bit of a dampener on it. On these, you're not going to have any dampening. So make sure that you're not using this tip over any kind of a bony area, areas of tendons, areas that are really sensitive, a lot of arterial or venous supply. This is more for your major muscle groups, your quads, your pecs, your lats, bottom of your feet with the plantar fascia is a really good spot for that one. And again, as we power on and off, you can see how the unit moves. You can see that it's lighting up at the bottom, so you know it's actually turned on. And then we just keep tapping through until we get through all 5 levels, and then it kicks off. So the one feature to notice on this is when you're changing intensities from speed 1 to speed 5, you can't go backwards through the speed. You have to go through until you get to speed 5 if you're trying to get back around to a speed 3, for instance. So we'll remove that tip, and then we've got the bullet tip. And it does not have that little notch inside, so it doesn't matter how you align it, but just make sure you push hard and get a little bit of a rotation. And from here, again, we're gonna push the power. And for this one, this is really good for the palms because you can work in between the tissue, the tendons, and the connective tissue. The hand is a fascia-rich connective tissue area. So if you're really trying to get into those grooves, again, not digging into those grooves, but if you're trying to get into those grooves with some vibration to releasing those tissues, it's a really good point to use for that. If you are a therapist or if you're somebody who likes trigger point therapy or you're liking to get specific little muscle knots, there's one right here on the outside of the arm. You have to be really careful with that one because the nerve is superficial to the skin. But if you're wanting to keep it on that one area, this is a gentle tip that you can do that with because that is a live trigger point. Anywhere closer to the elbow is going to be a little more sensitive, so you want to avoid that with this specific tip. And again, we're arrowing through until we get things turned off so we can switch out. And then the last tip, which does have that notch feature so that it lines up perfectly straight. The reason being is because this is the spinal tip. So if you're looking at an individual, if you're looking at their spine, they've got the paraspinals that come along both sides, which I'm going to demonstrate on a model here shortly. The goalpost or the spinal tip will correlate with those paraspinals, which will release spasming in the back, causing a lot of low back and mid back pain. So once we get that plugged in, and you're going to see how that works. It's also not a bad one for if you're trying to get the quadriceps or the IT band. Now, I always tell people, don't roll or foam roll the massage gun or the vibrating foam roller through the IT band. With this, you can actually use the goalpost or the spinal tip to work the IT band safely, because the IT band is very receptive to vibration, and you're getting that percussion vibration through the massage gun. So that's another way that you can use the spinal tip if you're not needing it on your paraspinal muscles. Really good for IT band. Okay, so now we're gonna get a model set up to share with you how you can use this on the different body parts to gain whatever goals you might have, whatever relief you might have.